Up to the pit.
Physics in pit, backup check in 30. Ghost 1, backup check, Ghost 1-1. Ghost 1, backup check, Ghost 1-1.
Ghost 1-2.
Copy 2, continue startup. Able up front in 5 minutes.
Roger that. 2 quick points before you push over. First of all, if you do the Ghost 1 check-in on backup 1 thing, you don't need to call your seat, so we assume you're Ghost 1 because you're on the on Ghost 1 actual, because you're making the call on their net. The other one, you'll see a bit of variation on different pilots do this, but one of the things I try and do is I try and call people onto the Victor. So I say, see you on up front, Victor 1-5, and then that way, if anyone's not been paying attention in the briefing, they know where to find us. Or if they end up having put the wrong preset in, they go, why can't I hear anyone? Oh, I'm on Victor 16, right, what did I? Oh yeah, this Victor 15, that's the one. So, just a sort of a best practice thing there. Nothing wrong with what you did, just an observation.
Copy, makes sense.
Alright, I'll see you up front.
Ghost 1, check in up front.
2.
Copy 2, stand by for words in 2 minutes.
Wind. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Sky conditions, clouds, few 5,000 feet. Temperature, +22 degrees Celsius. Altimeter, 1011 millibars. Gunson, Information India. Runway 36. Expect visual approach. Wind, 030 degrees, 13 knots, gusts 22. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Sky conditions, clouds, few 5,000 feet. Temperature, +22 degrees Celsius. Altimeter, 1.
Ghost 1, Information India, runway use is 36, altimeter QFE 1011, winds from the northeast 030 at 11 knots, gusting 23 knots, if I remember correctly. Yeah, visual conditions, visibility 10 kilometers or more. Cloud layer 5,000 feet.
Alright, very good, very nice. One thing just to observe there, don't call standby words but not predicated with what the words are on, because that could be words on anything from my wife's bra size onwards. So you're going to give them weather, so standby words on weather, or basically stand by, you're about to get weather information. So if people want to set their cockpit up, I know there's not a lot really to do in the F-16, but you know, if you cast your mind back to the FA-18, you know, you've got to open certain menus and get stuff ready to input that data. Just gives everyone the heads up that, you know, you're about to be given words on the weather conditions, so be ready to receive it, basically.
Alright, one's good jet, ready to taxi. Sun ground, Ghost 1-1, abort my number 3, number 4.
Ghost 1, roger. Ghost 1, roger.
You see, now that's interesting. My FCR just ran a second bit after a fall. Never seen that before. Just bear with me while this works itself through.
1.
Two good jet, ready to taxi.
Ghost 1, chocks and pins. Sun ground, Ghost 1, 2 Vipers at the tree area, request taxi, runway 36.
Good evening, Ghost 1. You are number 1 for departure. Taxi, Alpha, and then hold short, runway 36.
Taxi Alpha to EOR south and then hold short, runway 36 for Ghost 1. One's taxi, stagger taxi.
Two's taxi. one thing just to bear in mind on the departure side. Good calls to the tower. Don't forget the information. You know, you want to tell them what ATIS information you're working off. Not that anyone's going to eat your lunch in this, like they do in Vatson. However, the other piece that you really need to remember on that one is to call the departure route that you want, because anyone else on net wants to probably know what departure route you're going to use.
Yeah, good point. Nor the departure type.
Say again?
Didn't call the departure type either, which would basically be a VFR departure to Jewel.
Yeah, that's the one. And then depending on sort of your time that you've got available, you can do one of two things. You can brief your departure plan to your flight before the flight, but you're going to inevitably need to redo it again once you're in the pit. So you can either do that back at the on the pad, or you can do it here, or you can do it just before you enter the runway, or if you've got the time and the space, you can even do it as you're entering the active.
Yeah, copy that. I was about to bring that up. So winds from 030, I'll be on the left hand side of the runway, you'll be on the right. So going to be doing a formation departure.
Two.
And Ghost 1 EOR check. One has bullseye. 178124. Timber Suite, Dolly Suite.
Toussaint, interesting. You use timber, so that's one that I've not heard in a while. So we use yardstick, which is TACAN equipment. Timber is one I've forgotten. I've heard it used before. What's your understanding of the brevity for timber?
Same as yardstick.
They're interchangeable, or do they mean certain different things?
Not to my knowledge, I think they're the same thing. It just means that the air-to-air TACAN is set and reading correct distance.
Okay, interesting. So I'll have to have a look into that and double check whether yardstick is for air to ground and timber is air to air. That'll be one that I'll need to check in the SOPs. For now, use yardstick because that's the one all the other guys are taught and familiar with. Between me and Dee, we'll have to double check the actual difference between timber and yardstick, because odds are on they don't have them there to cover the same thing. They'll mean something subtly different. We just need to figure out what.
Yeah, good point. I could be wrong though, don't quote me on that.
Well, I like the notion of one being air to ground and one being air to air. That'd be kind of cool if it was, but we just need to look it up.
Okay, let's go ahead and go for the hold short position. One is taxiing.
Don't forget to call ground, let them know you're moving to the hold short.
It's on ground, Ghost 1, 2 Vipers at DOR south, moving to hold short position, runway 36.
2 taxing.
Ghost 1-1, contact tower for takeoff. Switch 2923.
Switch 29230, Ghost 1. Sound Tower, Coast 1, 2 Vipers, holding short runway 36. Request line up and wait for Jewel VFR departure.
I'm actually planning to put a message on the BMS website.
Hold short.
To actually find out whether we can get some commands in to actually say, please, we want to wait and hold short, or we want to position and hold, or whatever it might be, to get some sense of things, because that clear for takeoff is an expedited departure, but I'd rather they position and held us on the runway, because actually we're 3 minutes ahead of our spot now, so if we go onto the runway now, they're just going to yell at us, so I think they need to do a bit of tinkering with the way the ground works, the ground tower.
I noticed that they are a bit more lenient of us just being stationary at the runway, but after a while they start losing their patience. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 2 minutes or so when they start to lose their rag. We're hearing from the soft.
Clear for departure for Ghost 1. Let's taxi. Ghost 1 antenna active. Ghost 1, run them up.
Ghost 1-1, what is your problem? You are disrupting traffic.
Brakes,
Ghost
release.
1-2, is there a problem? Ghost 1-1, contact departure.
Contact departure for Ghost 1.
Two airborne.
161. Guns on departure, Ghost 1, 2 Vipers, airborne.
Ghost 1, Kunasan, departure. Depart heading 355. Resume on navigation.
Fly heading Jewel, and then resume navigation for Ghost 1. Gunsan departure, Ghost 1, departing the airspace, pushing tactical. Ghost 1, push uniform 6.
That last is unnecessary. They should have all heard you call that you're pushing to tactical, so you don't need to tell them to move over to that side.
1.
Especially if you've got new pilots in there, it helps remind them that if you've got veteran pilots with you and the comms can get pretty busy, especially if you're doing a combat departure, so it's just one less thing to announce.
Yeah, makes sense. 2, spread right 1 mile.
2. well that confirms it then. Me and you have got different steer points for steer point 6.
Really?
Yeah, it's done that thing again. I thought they'd fixed this. Randomly, the game will delete someone's steer point. More often than not, it's the server host, which is really annoying. But don't worry, I'll pick it up. That explains why the carrot was out of whack. Were we behind carrot, or are we on carrot at the moment?
We were in the last few steer points, but we are just about on carrot now. I have 40 miles to steer point 6.
Roger that. I'll just wing it.
Stand by. Let me see if I can. Did you get data?
Negative.
Let me find the binds.
Captured.
When I transmit it like this, does it give you the correct POS?
It certainly gives me the square at the location that it should be at. Unfortunately, I can't actually set it as a waypoint. That's the annoying bit.
If you cycle to the steer point that I transmitted, it doesn't give you a TOS.
No. And it doesn't mark it on my, so I can set it as steer point, I just can't, I don't get a flight path for it, which is a bit annoying.
Oh yeah. I had a similar issue with Vlad on one of our flights where their steer points are all out of whack. They form like some sort of rectangle right off the flight path from like steer point 6 on to steer point 9 or something like that.
That's weird.
Yeah, steer point 6 is currently at a heading 040.
040, Roger. Yeah, so at the moment I've got the carrot way out ahead of us somewhere.
I'll be calling out the directions at each steer point over the radio.
Roger that. Once I get my flight path aligned, I'll let you know.
Delayed 90 right, reference 125 now.
2. So just a small point there. Obviously, call now, that's fine. It's easily understood. But where possible, use go to instruct your flight. So one of the things we try and ingrain to people in EFT and basic fast jet is that go means, well, go. So that's the instruction. So try to use that if you can.
Yep, gotcha.
And I'm still off flight path just for now.
Delayed 90 left, reference 045. Go.
2.
I overcooked that turn.
Alright, it's my job to fix it. Do you have carrot at about 470?
It is high up there, yeah.
Alright, I think I'm getting close to the reference point now. I think by the next steer point, I reckon we'll be back on the flight path.
Say your bearing and distance to steer point 9.
There's no point calling them as steer point numbers because I think what it does is it deletes one of mine. So my nearest steer point is roughly 020 at about 5 miles.
Yeah, that's good. What's your range and bearing to the following one?
Right. Bearing east, 62 miles.
Copy, that's a correct steer point.
Roger.
So yeah, so you can, I guess, execute the turn without me calling it that time.
Roger that. I'm assuming now's a good time for that turn.
Just about, yep.
Roger. So where do you have the carrot right now?
We are now ahead of Carrot for quite a while, actually. I'm slowing down.
Roger.
Some big variations with the Carrot along this flight path.
Yeah, I suspect there's been some kind of change. I think this mission is a pre-437 mission. I wonder whether there's been some kind of error.
I think I got the tanker on my scope. I'll call Sentry to confirm. Sentry 1, Ghost 1-1, request back to the tanker.
Ghost 1, Sentry 1, no tankers available.
Ghost, Sentry 1, Ghost 1-1, you are fake news. Ghost 1, fuel check. 1 has 8.5.
2, 7.7. And for what it's worth, you can just say, Ghost 1, save fuel.
Right.
So 1, where are you on the carrot?
Picking it up now. Slowed down a bit too much, but on Carrot now.
Oh, interesting, you're on carrot now. Oh no, that's fine, you picked it right up, fair enough.
Carrot's at roughly 370 knots.
Oh, interesting, mine's at 360. But I'm keeping pace. No, I'm ahead of you. You're ahead of. Alright, well, we'll see how it works out. It could just be more of this weird stuff going on. I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing different carrot speeds. My carrot's at about 360 knots.
Yes, slightly like, from what I can see, like 365-ish for me.
got it just below 360, but we are geographically dispersed, so, and you're closer to the steer point than I am, so that could account for a few knots, especially given we're only 20 miles away.
Yeah, true.
This is one of the reasons why we tell student pilots as IPs, you know, carrot gets you close, but when push comes to shove, look out the window.
Yeah, no worth obsessing over it.
Yeah, it's the lead's job to be on carrot. If you've not, that's something you deal with in debrief. If yeah, it's the lead's prerogative to change the airspeed of the flight. You know, it's the wingman's job to be in the right position. So, where are you on the carrot now?
Slightly ahead, but I'm slowing down. Rough carrot would be for me at 330 knots.
Tick.
Or say 332, 333. I think I have the tanker. I think that's the tanker on my scope. I don't see the radome on top of it. Go ahead and rejoin echelon left loose.
Tick.
And considering we're going to be flying up to the tanker, we will be foregoing carrot as of starting now.
Tick.
Post 1, push uniform 1-3. Buddy luck. Texaco 1 Ghost 1-2 Vipers. roughly 15 miles to your north, west rejoin.
Ghost 1-1, Texaco 1-1, copy.
Yeah, I
Contact me
forgot.
10 miles.
And now Sentry is going to tell me, yo,
Tanker, Mexico,
Tanker
bearing
is in such
185,
and such
15
place.
miles, Tecan Channel, 2 Niner,
Well, it's nice that it's done it this time. It decided not to bother the first time.
Yeah, I know, right? First I asked him, where's the tanker? And she's like, there's no tanker, bro. And now, yo, tanker is in such and such place.
Shoot him down.
Coming left. Try that again. Texaco 1, Ghost 1, 2 Vipers, request rejoin.
Ghost 1-1, Texaco 1-1, heads up, tanker is entering turn. Ghost 1-1, Texaco 1-1, you are number 1 to refuel. Ghost 1-1, Texaco 1-1, clear to pre-contact position.
I'm speeding up and might sharpen the stern a little bit.
2. So be instructive. Yeah, I am sharpening up to. If you might do it, then you know you might do it. But on this occasion, you are going to do it. So Ghost 1 should tighten the turn or something similar.
Copy.
Nice lag spike there.
Ghost 1, pre-refueling checks.
2.
Coming left. Slowing down. I'm gonna set us up on left observation, then I'll move to pre-contact position. Let's go ahead and fill them up to, I have 7.4, let's do, I don't know, 8,000. Fill them up to 8,000.
2.
I don't want to make it, we haven't been spending a lot of fuel, we are relatively light, so I don't want to make us too heavy for landing.
Roger that. It's either that or it'll be a fast transition home.
Or we can do like an F-16 pilot once told me, just put the boards out, full afterburner.
Yep.
Texaco 1, Ghost 1 moving to pre-contact position.
Ghost 1-1, Texaco 1-1. Cleared to contact position.
Clear to contact position, Ghost 1.
Ghost 1-1, stabilized. Contact.
Contact, good flow, Ghost 1. Request 1,000 pounds. Ghost 1, disconnect.
Disconnect.
Passing over the tanker.
Ghost 1-2, Texaco 1-1. Clear to pre-contact position.
Ghost 1-2, clear to
Roger.
pre-contact.
Ghost 1-2, Texaco 1-1. Cleared to contact position.
Ghost 1-2, clear to contact. Ghost 1-2, request 2,000. Actually, 3,000. No, I was right, 2,000.
Contact.
Contact, good flow.
Have you ever tried taking fuel from one of these baskets in the wingtips?
Not in the F-16, no.
Right, but on a like a Hornet or something?
1,000.
I've done it on the Tornado in this, and it was nigh impossible. There was just something weird about it. I can do it in DCS, no problem. But there was something weird about the way it was happening in the Tornado. It just wasn't happening for me.
What I noticed when I did manage to get connected, when me and Vlad went up here on the on that version of the F-16 that has this refueling system, the lights on here actually work and mean something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like if the hose is in such a position, it can like interrupt fuel flow. And the lights will tell you that.
Ghost 1-2, done refueling, thanks to the fuel, bolting the tanker.
Roger.
Okay, let's put some vertical separation. I'm gonna climb 5 degrees nose up. Exco 1, Ghost 1 departing your frequency. Thanks for the fuel. Ghost 1, post refueling checks.
2.
Ghost 1, push uniform 6.
So, one, don't forget to leave a bit of thrust margin. I'm in full buster and you're escaping from me. So, always remember, uphill and downhill, you need to leave about 3% to 5% thrust margin uphill. If you're coming downhill, you need to never idle your thrust. You need to be on your thrust plus a little bit. That just gives your wingmen a bit of room to use thrust to slow themselves down rather than boards or gate.
Yeah, and I put too much of a nose up attitude while we were slow, so that was incrementing on that problem for me and for you. And I've just learned something that if I'm hosting data link, well, it makes sense. If I'm hosting data link and I quiet my RF transmissions, I then need to relaunch data link afterwards. After we roll out, I'm gonna start descending as 2 Angels 1-6 and then yeah, 360 knots so we can burn up some more fuel without being all crazy in afterburner.
Hey.
Traffic 1 o'clock high, no factor.
2 visual.
Altitude. Altitude.
one just brief observation, not a critical one, but one to bear in mind. When we're flying off Carrot, if we've got no specific reason not to, we will try and aim for either 300, 360 or 420 knots. We don't sort of pluck numbers out of thin air, but there is a logical reason behind those numbers. Do you know what it is?
Nope.
Easily divisible by 6, which means you can calculate your miles per minute. So at 360 knots, I know that I'm moving at how many miles a minute?
Now you're asking me to do math.
360 divided by 60 or 36 divided by 6 all works out at 6 miles a minute.
Rug no do math.
But no, we try to stick to those numbers just because that way we can, it helps with mission planning for flight leads, all that kind of stuff. So 360 is typically the speed that we will fly at. If we're down low, we'll use 420 if fuel and distance allows. But that's just an airspeed you want to try and aim for. And again, that will get ingrained into like student pilots. When we're not flying to Carrot, which is also incidentally set to 360 knots, but if you've seen, the Carrot does kind of have a life of its own sometimes. If we're not flying to Carrot, it will be 360 knots. That is the SOP contract airspeed, unless otherwise briefed.
Yep. Now that you bring it up, in order to burn more fuel, maybe I should have had us flying at 420 knots. We have fuel to spare. But anyways, we'll keep it as it.
Just have to have a very delicate touchdown.
After we roll out on the next steer point, I'm gonna start our descent. Ghost 1, push uniform 4.
So don't forget to check out with AWACS just before you move to port.
Once on approach, Ghost 1 to Vipers. 25 miles to the southeast inbound, runway 36 via Aladi.
Good evening, Ghost 1-1. Goodness on approach. You are cleared all the way in for overhead approach. Runway 36. Due on page 1010.
Cleared for overhead approach, runway 36. We'll report initial QFE 1010, Ghost 1-1. Sorry, got a bit too carried away with speed.
Ghost 1-1, contact tower for landing. Switch 29230.
Switch 29230 for Ghost 1. Sunsan Tower, Ghost 1, 2 Vipers at Island. Initial overhead break, runway 36. Speed got away from me. Ghost 1-1, break land. See ya.
Ghost 1-2, break land.
Sun Tower, Ghost 1-1, finals gear down.
Ghost 1-2, finals gear down.
Wow, this wasn't my best base turn. One's cold side right.
Two's cold side right.
Ghost 1-1, contact ground, switch to 2732525. Ghost 1-2, contact ground, switch to 2732525.
Two's clear of the active.
One. Switch 273525 for Ghost Flight.
Alright, you're cool, Fiscus. You can taxi us back to the ramp, or we can just do the stuff from here.
No, I like parking them over there back in, let me see. It is Wolfpack flows. Once on ground, Ghost 1, 2 Vipers at EOR North, request taxi to Wolfpack flows.
Ghost 1-1, taxi back to the ramp. Echo, Papa, Charlie, 04.
Ghost 1 will taxi Echo Papa Charlie to Wolfpack flow. Ghost 1. One's taxi. Stagger taxi.
2 taxi. So, absolutely nothing wrong with announcing staggered taxi, perfectly acceptable. However, one other thing you can do, IPs will instruct their student pilots that if a flight lead is taxiing on the centre line, then that infers a centre line taxi. If the flight lead staggers, then that will infer a stagger taxi. So you don't technically need to call it.
Cool.
But that is that's a flight lead choice. You don't have to. Pilots are taught not to require the call. Much like when you do the turns, in the SOPs it says anything under 30 degrees of descent or ascent and 30 degrees of bank does not need to be called by the flight lead. You don't have to call it, but you were, and that's a flight lead preference. That's something that you have the choice on doing. Don't speed the good jet on the ground. Remember, 25 knot ground speed.
Yeah, I'm on it. Find the C-130.
Yeah. If I was a B-1B, I'm not entirely sure I'd be happy about that aircraft being there. God, I wish we had B-1Bs to fly in this. I don't think I'd ever leave it.
Well, technically you can fly one of those, just in an F-16 pit in a dubious flight model.
The F-16 Lance or the B-1B Falcon.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna take the last shelter, take the one before last.
2.
I like these shelters.
Yeah, they're nicely done, aren't they?
Ghost 1, chocks and pins, shut them down, back out when able.
Roger that, everyone's clear to exit when ready.